and welcome to a special episode of Bath Time Investigates. I finished work early. I've had this prepared since last night. We're going to be talking everything to do with Ten Hag and his tactics. This means it's going to be quite a long video. We're going to have to go over some basic concepts, and then I'm going to go through a few things that I've seen from the Ajax Benfica match. And you can see I've got all my pictures up here. I've got a special pen. All right. So let's get cracking. The first thing though is no, it's going to be the different philosophy between Liverpool and Manchester City and how they press and win the ball back. All right. So first of all, I've got both teams playing against Spurs. Here you can see Liverpool in their shape, and Spurs have got the ball. And what Liverpool will want to do here is whoever this is, Jota, Mane, Firmino, will want to try and force the pass. Okay, so what they'll do is they'll use their cover shadow, which basically means the area behind them that no one can pass to force Lloris to hit in a certain way, and their midfield will man mark, and their defence will kind of go into an asymmetric three at the back. Okay, so what happens is the ball gets passed out here. Salah applies pressure, and Mane has come in. This is very, very important. The obvious pass, seems to be here or a lump. Let's say they play it here. Trent Alexander-Arnold has picked it up, and instantly you can see from the positioning of Salah, there's a ball straight through. This is a key thing that Liverpool do, is that when they win the ball, they want to pass it as quickly as possible forward to get into goal scoring opportunities. It's what their whole team is set up for. All right. So they actually want to give up possession sometimes because they don't really have a player that creates chances. They have a system that creates chances. Obviously, you got Thiago and Trent Alexander-Arnold who will provide quality, but it's the system that makes the chances. So let's see what Man City do. Man City do something very different, right? Which is where you can see that they're pretty much man marking across here. Now, what you might find is because they're playing Kane, I've put two men on him. Although I suppose this is Kane here and that this would be Son, whatever. But you see that Lloris has got the ball and Spurs want to sort of go wide. Harry Kane might drop in here. Rodri will follow him. But the difference here is that De Bruyne and Gundogan, or Foden or whoever, what they're going to try and do is they're going to try and block these passes with their cover shadow and apply pressure to the centre backs. So it's almost impossible to get out without booting it. Or ideally, City would like the ball in these areas because the touchline is the greatest defender in world football. It's perfect. It never makes a mistake. And you want to do the majority of your presses near the touchline, right? Because you have a ubiquitous defender at all times. So normally what happens is the ball gets booted out and it's eventually gets back to Edison and City move into a three shape. Okay? And then they begin to recycle the ball. The difference between City and Liverpool is that Liverpool don't mind the other team having the ball. They don't need to dominate it as much because their high press system creates chances, whereas Man City's high press system wins the ball back and allows them to recycle it and begin their rotations. Now, what is rotational play? I can hear some of you asking, and I'm delighted that you've asked. Okay, so this all looks quite complicated, right? It's not really, but we'll go through it and I'll show you what rotational play is, and then we'll begin to talk a bit more about Ten Hag. So this area here in between the blue lines, this is essentially a half space, right? Goes all the way up the pitch. Now this isn't completely accurate because there isn't this area here isn't really a half space, etc. But this will do. This area here is wide spaces. In fact, I want to use my special pen. This area here are wide areas, and this lane here is the half space, and this here is the center. Right? Is that clear? I hope so. So, what PEP has is PEP has something called the 3+2 system. And what that means is that you can only ever be on there can only ever be 3 players on the same horizontal line, which are the red lines, and 2 players on the vertical line. So you can see here that I've set this team out in that way. So you have the 3 building up here, this basically acting as a sort of a midfield, and so on. So what happens is with this system is you have a lot of passes. That's the point of it, is it gives you a huge array of different options to hit. So, for example, when City unfortunately dominated Manchester United at Old Trafford, Pep used an expression called putting the ball in the fridge, which was nothing to do with Harry Maguire, but what it meant was taking the safer option. Because with the 3 on the lines, on the horizontal lines, and the 1 on the vertical line, it means that there's always a safe ball. It makes it very, very difficult to press. And the way the rotations work is, let's say that this is Kyle Walker, and Kyle Walker sort of comes back. All right, let's make the 3. Kyle Walker makes the 3. Now, because of these lines here, De Bruyne can't go here because that puts 3 across. But let's say De Bruyne goes here. This guy comes in, and what it does is it creates rotations around the half space. So if you have players trying to mark, let's get the right back in the right spot. If you have players like trying to mark, and you see the sort of the rotation, you can see that spaces begin to open up. And this is the point of the system, is that everyone like has this very basic rule, and they know where they're meant to go. So you see this guy go here. You've got to come off this line, but you've got to stay in line with everyone else, and so on. And it allows huge amounts of movement, with the main point is to drag people out of position. This is what rotational play is, or positional play is. And it's not something that we've seen under Ragnick. Amazingly, Ollie actually used to do this a little bit, but not to this level of sophistication. So what can we expect from Ten Hag? All right, now we get on to my pictures. Okay, right. So this is all taken from the same match, which is Benfica versus Ajax, the first leg. I have watched a little bit of other games, but the problem I have is that he's just setting up in a kamikaze way in the Eredivisie that he'd never do in the Premier League. And I like this match as an example because Benfica are actually a very good team, and it's away from home, so it's slightly more cautious. So what we can see straight away from the kickoff with Ajax playing in black, and I'm sorry I don't know a lot of their names. Um, but I'm sure you can deal with it. Okay, I don't have that. Uh, you can see 2 players marking the Nuno Darwin, or whatever he's called. A 3, 4, and a 1. Okay, and this is pretty much man marking. Right, the spare man is this guy here. You can see that this is Anthony, and he's sort of tucked in, and this is a very standard shaped setup. But what you can see is that it is. Let me get rid of everything. It's protecting the middle of the pitch mainly, and if we go back to this here, this area here, no, sorry, excuse me. This area here is called Zone 16. If you've ever received any sort of coaching from someone who's been on a bloody weekend course, you'll know that Zone 16 is pretty much what most football tactics are about. This is where the most goal creating actions come from, and most football formations, even though most football setups are designed to keep control of this area. right? Because that's where most goals come from. And the evolution of the half spaces has come because this is basically where it's very difficult to mark people. But we'll get into that as we go along. So we can see. What can we see? I don't know. All right. Second thing we've got here, and this is 20 seconds in, is we've got a rest defense. I know I bang on about a rest defense quite a lot, but you can see that this guy here is competing for the ball, and these two guys are running off into the space, and we have man marking across here, man marking here, and we've got Antonio or Anthony or whatever he's called, sort of in the line, but he's got this guy under control, and he's able to come in or speed out. So this is actually quite good. Right? I'm not I'm not convinced that this is how he'll play in the Premier League, just on the basis that I don't like this bit. Let me get rid of this. I don't like going man to man here in the midfield. Like this is dangerous in the Premier League. I would expect that we might have Haller um, taking this guy and Gravenberch or whoever this is falling in here so that we get numbers like in the midfield. Okay, but so that's quite interesting that a rest defence, for example, Harry Maguire can quite easily be the guy that comes out to win the ball here. So what do I have next? So the rest defence actually failed. Okay, um, what they call Benfica won the ball back, and you can see that we got two guys here. We kind of got a three there, and we got a four here. Okay, you can see that every one of the Ajax players is in shot. We have Anthony and the other wide player coming in, and look at this. Look at zone 16. Very, very well protected. Um, what you can also see is that a little bit similar to Liverpool, if we win the ball here, or if Ajax win the ball here, we've got these players in good positions to get in behind. Okay, you've got Alvarez like man marking. You've got these two guys man marking. You have Timber as the spare man, and I would suspect that this guy would be moving up. Will be moving up into here because this is sort of like I know this is a still image. It's not going to be perfect every time the lines they're in because football is a fluid game. But here, this looks pretty good to me. That like even though their rest defense has failed and Benfica have won the ball, by getting into a compact block, it is forcing who's it forcing? This guy here is going to have to play it back to the goalkeeper, which is very, very good because if you'll have seen the Chelsea Man United game, it wasn't until the second half that we were forcing them to play it back to their goalkeeper. All right. Um, so what do we have next? There's lots of these slides. Problems with the shape. I can't remember what the problem is, but if you give me a second, I'm sure I'll see it. So we've got a 4-4. Basically got a 4-4-2 block here. I see what it is. Okay. So this is something I don't think will cut it in the Premier League. We got two players marking the centre half, which is normal. We've got a nice compact shape, but here, right, Anthony's going to bend his run in here to stop the ball getting out here, but this guy is making a run in here. He has to pick it. This is a very, very easy pass. It's and also Gravenberch or whatever isn't protecting it. There's too many passes here, and there's also a guy coming off here. Against, even though you might not like him, if you give someone like Tyrone Mings this amount of space with no pressure, you'll get hurt. Okay, there needs to be more pressure on the ball carrier, and the marking needs to be much, much better here. Okay, Benfica are a good team, but they're not an elite team, and an elite team would hurt you in this situation. So this is what I have with the problem of the shape, is that even though we're nice and compact. There's too many players that are open, and like this run here worries me. Okay. Uh, so what's next? Aha! They recover the shape. All right, so this is good, right? Is that the team saw that the shape was wrong, but they recovered. You can see that Anthony has curved his run, has stopped that ball. Haller stopping the ball out there. Got a pass here. The guy can't turn, and you can see that the defensive midfielder has picked up on that guy I thought was a problem. We've got a 3 here. You you see, maybe this is Gravenbach, I don't know, but he's using his cover shadow to block those two. And even though we're conceding a little space over here and in behind here, we've got a player that's able to cover. We've got a player that's able to cover. This is good because what you'd expect is the ball gets played here. And a feature that we're going to see quite a lot in this match is, of course, that pass is on. But I think that this is a trap, and I will show you actually why in a second. So this guy here has won the ball, right? This is why I thought it was a trap, is he's pushed up and he's won the ball, and instantly we're on a transition. We can see that this is a bit like the Liverpool transition, where Anthony is playing on the half space line and is running in behind. And there's huge space going here where like Haller can move in, he can go out. And what's quite nice is that we also have a numerical overload here with 4 versus 3 in case this pass is intercepted. Do you see that we're essentially man marking with one guy spare, and this guy here protecting the center, and this guy here protecting the center. And what these two here, these two are counter marking, so that they're able to run on their line. Actually, I should clean this up a little bit. They're able to run on their lines basically this would be the half space, but they're also in positions to defend if it gets turned over. So this is actually quite a good structure. And the other thing that I want to point out is that when we talked about Pep's positional play, we said it doesn't like 3 players on a horizontal line. This is interesting to me. This is 3 players on a horizontal line, and if, as I suspect, Haller goes there, that's another 3 players on a horizontal line. We know Pep studied with what's his face, with Ten Hag, and maybe because every man is his own man, maybe this is the difference, and I'm going to show it in greater detail later. But what happens next? Hang on, what's this called? Shape wins ball and transitions. Yeah, again, look at this, right? That's 3 players on the half space, right? 1, 2, 3, all in a line. And what you can sort of see here is that with Haller pinning these 2 players here, you've got, I assume this is Tadic, able to attack the back post. You got a run coming across here, taking that man. Who are these 2 guys marking? Well, this guy's applying pressure. This guy's protecting the front post. But we got a guy in the half space free here. We got a guy here that's free, and we got Anthony making this run across. This is nice positional play, because I think that Ten Hag says we need 3 people on the vertical line. Anthony knows that he's got to get on that line. The number 23 knows that Anthony's getting on that line, so he's going to pass the ball there. And let me get this back. And lo and behold, Anthony gets it in the half space. And you can see all the dangers here. And you can also see something, for those of you who are worried about transitions and stuff, you can see that we've got men two men here, like countering that, and you've got the defensive midfielder who, if this is intercepted here, you would think that these are the two areas that it would go. Well, these are the three areas that it would go to. Let me clean this up. You think you'd either put it behind, boot it over here, which is covered, or boot it there, which is recovered. So the recovery shape is quite good here, and this could be an overload, like in the Premier League. If that's Ronaldo, that's an overload because it's just a one-on-one overload because he's too strong in the air. So this is very, very good. So we've got three players again on the half space line, and we got four players across the pitch on the horizontal line. But it looks like we got enough security. So I'm pleased with this. Well, it excites me in many ways. This I didn't like. This is a corner. So you can see up here that I've deliberately kept in the timestamps of the score. So I'll put the link in the description, and you can watch these in real time. But this is crazy to me. So this is a free kick. You have one man in the wall. That's fine. You got three guys marking the near post. All right, the near post is the area that you're most likely to win the ball in, and it's where most balls go. But I am surprised that we got a 3-on-1, and then here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. They've gone man to man here but this is nice having a sort of double pivot. But this is worrying because you can already see that there's a guy spare. I don't think this will cut it in the Premier League, and you might say that's being snobby, but they went out to a set piece goal from a corner. Doing this kind of marking, so it doesn't cut it in the Champions League. So I would like to see this set pieces improve tremendously by Ten Hag. But after they win this corner, this is just quite nice. I know that this is. I hope that this isn't boring. I don't find this stuff boring, but maybe you do. But here, this is straight after the corner. You can see that they're basically coming to a 3. Got 3 across here. More lines, and I suppose that Anthony is out there. But basically, what you're seeing is that you're seeing these two guys here rotating into their positions, and you're seeing these guys. Let me make this clearer. Sorry. You're seeing this line here begin to get into position, and this line here begin to get into position. You can already see that we got the 3 at the back set up, and someone's got to come in here to make that. And I think they do, actually. But you can also see that Benfica are in a very compact shape, pretty reasonable, and Ajax are kind of, instead of protecting the centre, which Benfica are doing, they're beginning to get overloads out on the side. Like, look here, there's one guy having to deal with all these 4. And pretty much the same over on this side. There's 2 guys having to deal with 4. This means it's incredibly difficult to press Ajax because there's always a spare man and there's always movement. So once again, very happy with this, but concerned about the security on transitions. Now this is how they've set up. You can see that it's only a couple of seconds later. So on our sort of lines, we've got once again 2 players in the half space. We've got Anthony all the way out here, right? I know that this doesn't seem that exciting, but check this out. You can drive a fucking bus through that space there and through that space there. This is how you sort out a block. Because look, you've got Benfica in a 4-4-2 mid-block. Very, very standard. But because of the positional play of Ajax, with Anthony, who you can't see out here holding the width, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, there'll be a right back that's around here. Actually, there's a right back here. You've created a huge space here. You've also got Tadic here coming in on the half space with whoever this guy is holding the width, and you've got their defensive midfielder pinning two players. That means that the ball carrier has the option to pass here, he has the option to pass here, he has the option to pass here, and if he's good enough, he has the option to pass there. This is really, really top level football, what you're seeing here. And it's all about that space there. And to a degree, that space there. That line's not compact enough. You can get through that line. And you can also see that Haller playing. Let me clear this up again. Even though Haller's pinned these two centre backs, there's all this space out here that he can hit. And this is genuinely just a standard mid block that Ten Hag's positional play of having Antony holding the width and players on different vertical and horizontal lines has opened that gap. So this is tremendously exciting. And the other thing that I quite like about it is for the transition, we got three people against two, and we've got a sort of we've got men to recover if they're physical enough. We talk a lot about our midfielders and how we need two hard-working midfielders. It'll be this guy here and this guy here, and I'm not sure about Fred. McTominay could do it, but what you would need from these guys is you need the ability for them to motor there and to motor there. They've got to have engines, but we'll go into that in another video. Whoops. So what's next? Yes, this is what I like. So this is a couple of minutes later. What's going on here is you can still see that there's this lovely space in between the block. And you can see that the number 4, I think it's called Alvarez, is kind of doing his job here because he's attracted players around him to shut down the passing lanes. But the passes here, as it's statically, that's the only pass that's on, and we don't like that pass because that means we get pressure from here, 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 and most importantly, the touchline. So that's not a pass that we really want to be giving. We've still got Antony at a shot over here, and we got this number 12 on the same line as him. All right, so what do we need here? Well, there's two things that we could do. This 23 might want to attack that space there. Okay, and we hit a long ball. If he does that, we need to do a concept called like a third man run, which is where after he moves and he makes this line, some player's got to do something else in order to do the positional play. So let's see what happens. Gravenberch. Gravenberch has moved in to create a passing option. He was there. He's moved here. And do you see how good what he's done is? It's because here is Benfica's counter press, right? They thought they wanted to get the ball into that area there. Gravenberch has just moved out of it and has pretty much fucked up what their defense would be. He's given an extra passing option, right? So this guy has to go with him, and this guy is attracted to him. That means that Alvarez can rotate into this area here. It means that there's a passing option down that side. There's still the passing option there. And we've still got this beautiful gap in between the left centre-back and the left back. This I am very, very, very excited about because this is the sort of level of sophistication that we didn't get from Ollie, even though I liked Ollie as a manager. But this is proper like football tactics. Very, very happy. And see, we got loads of these to do. Once again, I just want to point this out. He's got 3 right in the half spaces, pretty much. And you can see that there's a line, and a line. Antony is probably coming in to make a 3 here, and this guy might go. might go across. But this is just an example of positional play. But I'm very interested about these three guys on the vertical line. This is new. This is something that we haven't seen before, and it leads to a sort of 2-3, like a 2-3-4, 2-3-5 attacking shape, which is difficult to deal with. But as you can see, we're okay for the transition. We've got players like in areas to cover men one on one. But if we go up against a very strong physical team, this might not work out well. But there is a structure in place, is the point, to protect. Um, so yeah, look at this. I thought this is quality, right? Do you know I've been going on for quite some time about that space in between the lines here. Here it's tightened up a little bit. It's opened up here, but it's here. This is Daily Blind, right? Who to my mind is a left back, and he's finally made the run into that space there. And there's, look, no pressure on the ball, easy pass out there. You've got Alvarez pinning two players again. You've got Gravenberch, who has come in and is now going back out. You've got a player out wide. I assume Anthony's over here. I don't know. But you've also got this guy, the number 23. I don't know who that is. But he is also attacking this half space. This is after 5 minutes. Because of the rotations and whose job it is to mark up Danny Blinn, because he shouldn't be there as a left back or a left centre back. We've got big gaps to hit, big holes to hit. Very, very exciting. Right. Let's get rid of those lines. Once again, this is just an example of the resting defence. I just want it to be a concept that we all get familiar with. Ball's played in. This guy is going for it. These two are covering, and these guys are all marked up in. These are all marked up in an area. So if he does win it and it gets past there, these players will collapse and try and win it. Very common tactical thing. I don't see it mentioned very often on YouTube, so it's just something I thought I would show you to sort of, I don't know, like kind of raise the standards of how we talk about tactics. But yeah, so that's just an example of the rest defense again. Yeah, now the rest defense didn't work out here. Like Benfica won the ball, they get up the pitch, and I don't like this. This concerns me. We've got here we're okay, right? We've got a 3 against 2 in this area, so we should be okay. We've got this guy out here stopping the cross, but this, I mean, I'm sure you've seen it, but this is the worrying bit. Is that's an easy pullback, that's an easy run to make, that's an easy run to make, easy goal. Like you can see, like you've all played football, you can see all the goals that could happen here. That's poor from the rest. That's poor from Ajax, and we will get punished for that in the league, even if Gravenberch is making the run back. Like this is a concern. All right, we need to have a better structure for this, and in fact, let's just look at where Gravenberch was. Yeah, Gravenberch is here, right, when the ball comes in at 6:11. And so what is going on here? Okay, at 6:11, and he's let 2 men run past him. Not impressive. All right, let's close all of these windows. I'm sorry for this. I do hope that this isn't boring. I don't think this is boring. I think this is quality, but I like this kind of thing. All right, so we closed all of them. Here is just another example about shape, because I know that Rebel, for example, wanted to know about the shape and stuff. Got the 4 across here. These two have got a man, 2 on him here. Alvarez protecting. You can see the wingers have come in. You can see that he's being a pest by being unmarked. Someone's got to mark him, and he's also the out ball. But you can see that once again they've compressed the pitch, right? So the central area is defended. Yes, there's space over here. Yes, there's space over here. You have to give some space up, and these are the least dangerous spaces. Zone 16, which is here, has the most Ajax players in it, which is pretty much what you want to see. So this is all right, okay. Um, and then here you can see the ball has been forced back, and we get the standard Premier League block forming, which is a 4. Right, there'll be a guy out there. Um, well, you can see it forming. It's the 4-1-4-1. Right, where you have the 4 there, the 1 there, that guy should be there, and the left back should be there. But as I say, um, you'll never get like the perfect image because football is moving. But this is a very standard mid block, and it's good to see that we do use sort of standard defences. Because I don't want everything incredibly technical and fancy. There's no point. Just do tried and trusted stuff. Right, do you want to see a bit of pressing? Okay, so this is just after the mid block that we just saw. Okay, this is quite exciting. Ball comes out. You can see that here we got the 3. This is a resting defense, okay, because we got the 2 players man marked, and we got the 1 free. One of these will go and head the ball, and the other 2 will run in behind and cover. Okay, resting defense. Hope you got it. And now the exciting stuff. Anthony has come in to essentially make a 4-4-2, but even though their wide player, sorry, the wide players should be out here, you can see that it's pretty difficult except for a pass back to the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper is the easy ball. You don't want to play this ball here because where's he going to turn? He can't hit that ball reliably. Can't play it in here. He can't play it in here. I think that this is another trap, right? And this trap will work eventually because this looks pretty tasty here, doesn't it? Like this, that's a spare man. That's who you want to be hitting. But anyway, by having this tight line here and people pressing well, it's not fun, is it? Is it, Precious? It is not fun for. Sorry, I've completely lost my train of thought. For let's move on to the next slide. So hang on a second. Ajax press, high press, high press. Okay. All right. So apparently that this has happened is that we forced it. That Ajax have forced the ball back off that press and have pushed up the pitch. Okay. Um, Here we've got a little bit of counter marking going on, where we've gone. Well, it's not counter marking. We've just gone to a man to man here, 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 and what we have done again is it looks like this guy is the spare man. Anthony is kind of curving his run, but the passes are there. You can't pass there because Haller is blocking. You've got to be a good player to drag back and send it here. And there's so the progressive option is to try and get that ball through there, and the safe option is to pass it back. Okay, this is good on the basis that, like a magician, we're forcing Benfica to do what we want. Okay, so what happens? I press 2. They take the safe option. Right, still good. You can see that Anthony is now going to be the one to apply the pressure. This guy can't be passed. We've got Haller cutting out the centre back. The safe pass is here or here. But remember, this touchline is a defender, so it's not as safe as it looks. Let's see what happens. He went, all right, let's the right back steals it. He went for okay. So what he tried to do is we can't see it off screen, but he went for a pass into this space here, I think, and because we're magicians trying to force our people to do what we want, we come in and we've pinched the ball. Now, think back to Liverpool and how they like it. We've got Anthony. Well, we've got three players in the half space. We've got him completely unmarked. We've got another guy in the half space. And for a transition, two men marking, one spare. These guys are able to man mark their players. So there's a bit of security. I genuinely would prefer one more player. I'd prefer this guy to be more tucked in, to be honest, so that there's a sort of three in the midfield because I just feel safer that way. But we'll see what Ten Hag does when he comes to the Premier League. So I think I got this the wrong way around. Right. I think that this is yeah. Okay, so we saw the right back pinch the ball. Sorry about this. They forced the keeper to kick it here, and you can see the right back legging it in. This is a trap. So the safe option was to give it to the goalkeeper that we discussed earlier. And the goalkeeper, and this is probably tactical, right-footed, is going to boot it here. This guy thinks he's got time, and the right back is going to cover all this ground and steal it. Oh, that's disappointing that I couldn't label things properly. Would have made a lot more sense, wouldn't it? Uh, Counter marking. Yes. Okay, so now we sort of we think we have the ball, and we've got a bit of counter marking going on with these guys here. That means that if we lose the ball, um, or if it goes back here, we're going to do the City thing, and these two players are going to shut the passing option for there. Haller is going to stop the ball across. This guy's going to apply pressure, and they're going to have to boot it. And then with the spare player and the other players there, we're going to recycle the ball. So we're seeing a kind of hybrid between City and Liverpool, which I suspect is what everyone wants. Uh, High press, passing lanes. Okay, so what I've marked here is what passes can you make? What passes can the keeper make? You can make that pass, but I mean, I wouldn't want to receive the ball as a goalkeeper there, as a centre back there. This you can't make that pass there. Anthony's blocked it off. That's an annoying pass. That is a difficult pass because of Haller. You can't hit it long there because of this guy. This guy's man marked. This guy's man marked. This guy's man marked. You've got to boot this. Like in this position with pressure being going to be applied, and what's his face? He's going to curve his run, right, so that you can't just pass it round him. This is excellent and aggressive football. All right. What one thing I would like to say is that what this shows, right, is that the Ajax system is not just legging it about at people. I know everyone's expecting some sort of like driver ant fury with players just running around everywhere. That's not what it is from what I've seen. It's more about pressure on the ball, but teams shutting down the angles for passing, forcing a long ball. So whilst you'll see all these players coming in and you'll see movement applied and pressure, it's much more sort of it's much more calculated than just like swarming like in a playground. All right, so we're nearly done, I think. Oh yeah, look again, another little pattern of play I saw was since it's like 11:50 now or whatever, um, is that one we got the right back with Anthony holding the space out here and that thing there. We got a right back bursting through, which you don't really expect to see, and this is actually a pretty nice shape from Benfica. Like this is a 4-3-3 block, mid-block, protecting the centre. Everything's good, but you can see that that this pass is on. Alvarez is he can't receive the ball. He can't receive the ball, and for once, Haller isn't pinning two centre backs. Grambert just come forwards. We've got a 2-on-2 there. Looks like there's no option, but this is a pattern of play. And with Anthony holding the width out there, they know that that space is on there and that space is on there. So this is how you break down a block, right? Is through the rotations and knowing where your teammates should be. So very, very excited by this as well. Yeah, and then look at this. This is crazy beans. This is basically 4 players in the half space, right? And what that means is you get look at zone 16. Look at this is unbelievable. The Benfica manager will be absolutely mad. That's zone 16. That's where most things come from, and he's got two players in it. That's all. Normally you would expect 6, but he's got 2 players in zone 16. You win football matches by doing stuff like this. And looking at the defensive structure again, man marked. This guy, because he's in the half space, has taken out 3. Just look at that. Just pop the ball. Like, look, you can all see it. Pop the ball there. He lays it off, and you can maybe even hit it back to this right back. This is crazy good. All right, I'm running out of a bit of energy here. Counter marking. Oh, okay. Like here, they've got a quality overload, which means where we'll call it a physical overload. This 22 looks bigger to that than the number 3 to me. So a decent ball in gets it. We've got 4 across the line, and this guy coming into the half space, and we've got these guys able to come in and press if the ball gets lost. You can see. Let me just clear it up. You can see that by changing their positions a little bit, if this ball gets intercepted, they can be collapsed on here. Okay, right. Okay, build up to the goal. This is what we'll finish with. Right. And you can go and watch this goal live, I suppose. Resting defense, middle of the pitch protected. This guy in space. This is Anthony. Everything looks good here. This is the easy ball, isn't it? So I think the keeper has it. I can't tell. You would suspect from the body shapes that the keeper has it, or someone here has it, and the easy pass is this guy here. And we've seen this several times in the match, that this looks like the easy pass. So what happens? That guy has just, this right back, who I'm very impressed with, has covered that ground, has used the touchline and has won it. Right? Tadic is going to score the goal. That's where he is at the moment. Spoiler alert. We've got the man marking. We've got the counter marking on now. And we've got players. We've got the sort of 3 and 4 again on the half space. Look at zone 16. You should get punished for having 1 player in zone 16 and they have 2. Right? That should always be a goal. So what happens is he won the ball. He's given it out to the wide area, right? Which is part of the plan. He's in a half space. He's attracted 2. He's attracted 1. There's a guy on him here. This guy lost the ball, is recovering, and that's his man. And then look, Pomo, position of maximum opportunity, completely free. Tadic is running in. He already knows it. Tadic has known since that goal kick came out, if they won it, he wants to get into here. And what happens? And I tell you that, he finishes it. Okay, I'm going to end it here because I've got tired and I need to eat. and whatever. But I hope you enjoyed that. I understand it probably got a bit more boring and stuff. I know that there are two or three of you that will watch this all the way through, but if please, like, just write something, like if you thought it was shit or good or whatever, because I don't get enough feedback on these things. I don't know if they're really interesting or they're really boring. But anyway, that was Bath Time Investigates. I hope you've enjoyed it. Next episode, I might do something on the players I think could do well for Ten Hag and who will be shipped out. But yeah, there you go. That's my tactical analysis of Ten Hag.